What's good, everyone? Welcome back. Episode 3 of the
Numero
Bedsheet BallZone
uno.
podcast. And yeah, we got another guest with us. So, Drew, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us something about yourself.
I'm Drew. I go to school with Ethan in Denver, University of Denver. So yeah, I'm much better skier than Ethan. Fun fact about me. So
Okay, buddy. Yeah, you grew up skiing.
maybe.
Yeah, so this is episode 3. On this podcast, we're going to recap the NFL this past weekend, the championship games, and we're going to talk about NBA and our top 5 teams, power rankings. Finish off, Drew is a Celtics fan, so we're going to have a special edition Would You Rather. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, right away, just get it started. Let's address the elephant in the room. Shout out
Chiefs
Chiefs.
is still the Chiefs.
They're
Absolutely
just the new
insane.
new Patriots. They're the new Patriots.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're somehow
we are.
better. Like,
They turn it on when the games matter. They flip the switch.
Uh-huh.
yeah, makes literally no sense. There is no way they won last weekend.
The
I
defense won. That's who won.
It makes me
Mahomes
sick to my
sucked
stomach.
in the second half. Like
I
at
Bro,
was a better
scoring,
passer than
scoring.
Mahomes in the game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Couldn't They
I
didn't finish many drives.
yeah, I that Ravens defense to start the second half was what I was expecting all game.
Yeah, they
They
did
really
not
did
come
turn
to
it on in
play.
the second half. They did not come to play. And one thing that I got right about last week was Chiefs scoring 17 points. I didn't think that was going to be enough.
You actually got that
Um,
right. I
but
had us at
it
what,
was.
35, I think.
Yeah, you had
I
them
think I
dropping like
said
a 35
35,
piece on that
31.
defense. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe how bad the Ravens came to play on offense.
Yeah.
Their strength, not only this entire year, but previous years, was having that run game. That's what
They
makes
barely ran
Lamar
it.
elite. That's what makes Lamar elite is
Uh-huh.
setting up the RPO, so that way you have to respect the run, which makes their offense, their passing game significantly better. They just kind of went out and played hero ball. They went down 7-0 at the start of the game, and they were like, "Fuck it, Lamar,
Yeah.
just go out and
Gus
play hero ball."
Gus
Uh-huh.
Edwards got like one rush for like
He
12 or
had
13 yards, and it was a really good rush.
he
Like
had he
like
had
he like
three
ran
carries
over
for 20
people.
yards.
And then
Yeah.
they gave him the ball two times in the second half.
Uh-huh.
And he got one carry in the first, like
And
they were
Lamar
giving
only ran it eight
yeah.
times. Like,
And they
Yeah,
only had and there was no designed runs for him except for that long one on fourth down early.
hmm
yeah, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I thought that was one of the worst games I've seen coached in a while with John Harbaugh
yeah,
because
I don't know what they were doing there.
they had literally everything going for them this season. They were blowing out every good team. They had I mean, Lamar, there's only been one unanimous MVP in the entire league before, and it was Lamar Jackson in 2019, and he's probably going to do it again this year. He'll probably win, if not
I hope not.
if not
See
95% of the votes, he's going to get MVP.
CMC deserves some votes.
Yeah,
yeah.
CMC will probably get a little bit of votes, like maybe a couple, but other than that, Lamar's probably
Yeah,
he's
he
gonna run away
will.
with that MVP.
He'll
They had
pretty
Yeah.
much wipe it.
they had everything going for them this year, just for them to have a home playoff game and get
Fall
dismantled by
apart.
the
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Uh-huh.
I just I couldn't believe it. John Harbaugh absolutely choked. I don't know what he was thinking, abandoning their strength. Lamar is a very good passer, and Lamar is a very good quarterback, and I think he's extremely underrated when it comes to his like deep ball accuracy and just him as a thrower.
He
But
was honestly pretty decent.
what makes him elite is that run game. That's what makes him elite. And just to
It
throw it out the
scares the
window,
defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Like
makes
it
no
makes the
sense to
defense
me.
focus on it, and then Lamar hits
Exactly.
them with the deep ball because the safeties are playing up trying to stop the run.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It almost kind of felt like they had no shot that entire game. Like once the Chiefs went up 7-0 and we saw the Ravens struggle a little bit on offense, it was almost kind of I was kind of ready to like end the game. Like the Chiefs kind of were dominating that entire game.
Dude, I
Um,
I said it. We were watching this outside at the house, and I told Drew like right at the beginning. I was like, "Oh, don't let us get in the lead. Don't let us get in the lead because whenever we start off games hot, we win them every time.
Yeah, and then when the Chiefs scored, I was like, all right, this game is over.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
You
And
knew that we were gonna win.
like we were saying earlier, it was really unfortunate because when the Ravens came out in I mean, maybe not unfortunate because Chiefs fans don't find it unfortunate, but when the Ravens defense came out in the second half and they were clamping literally everything, and we
Yeah.
finally saw them get pressure, we finally saw them start to like actually blanket everything, and they were actually playing that lockdown defense.
Too bad our
They
defense
still
was
they
doing the same
still
thing.
couldn't do anything. They still couldn't do anything. And the second that they were like this, they decided for whatever reason to just throw the ball only and completely abandon their run. That Chiefs secondary was locked down the entire game, and they just had no shot. They had no chance.
Yeah,
So
Zay at the end fumbling also. Well, the
that was
personal or the
absolutely
taunting
insane.
penalty was just
Yeah.
stupid.
That just it
Like,
was a chain reaction after that.
and then the
Yeah,
fumble was equally as bad. Like,
I really
protect the
thought that
ball.
we were gonna lock Zay down more than that.
Zay was
And
doing literally whatever he wanted. That was
Yeah,
yeah,
insane.
you said Snead was gonna lock him down
I
before the
did.
game started.
I did.
Snead made up for it though.
I
That
mean, to
forced
be
Yeah, he
fumble
fair,
is
punched
what
it
won them
out.
the
Yeah,
I
game.
don't know how many of those were Snead in coverage.
Yeah,
Always gotta
Snead's still
remember that.
him,
the
but
deep ball, the early deep ball was, and then I
yeah,
don't know if the
yeah,
other one was.
Yeah, Snead had 4 completions on him, so he didn't
yeah,
play great
How many yards?
compared to what he's been doing, 70 yards. So one of the
yeah,
deep ones was definitely on
yeah.
him.
But shout out Chiefs going to another Super Bowl. Probably going to end up winning it
We will.
and solidifying
I will
themselves as a
be putting my
dynasty.
entire cash balance onto the Chiefs for sure.
I don't hate that. I don't
Yeah.
hate it. Um, Also, I'm definitely going to be sprinkling Patty Mahomes' first TD in the Super Bowl, rushing TD, just
Mm,
for it, because
interesting.
yeah. Um, but yeah, shout out Chiefs. If you're a Ravens fan, you're absolutely sick to your stomach. If you're a fan of football,
Ow,
you're sick
ow,
to your
ow,
stomach.
ow,
And
ow,
if you hate Taylor Swift, you're sick to your stomach. So,
ow. Oh,
yeah, so moving on to the NFC, I just want to get this out the way. Um, Absolutely no way the Lions were winning that game. They had every opportunity to. Wasn't ever
you
going to happen.
dude, shut
Wasn't ever going to
Those
up.
happen.
Shut up, Alex.
No,
Give them
no,
the credit. You haven't given them credit at all. Give them the
no.
credit they deserve.
They don't
Okay?
deserve
Look,
shit.
they made it to this game.
they do
They
deserve.
really should have won the game. If Dan
They should have won the
Campbell
game. They should
would
have
have like
fired Dan
decided
Campbell.
to
Honestly,
take one field goal, they would have won the game.
And you know what's funny? I'm going to take my victory lap on this. I'm going to hop on my scooter. I'm going to take my victory lap.
Nah, dude,
Because
you've
Dan
taken
Campbell,
too
you're
many L's
fraudulent.
on this.
No,
You've
Dan
taken too
Campbell,
many L's on this.
Dan Campbell is absolutely fraudulent. He's the worst head coach I've ever seen in my entire life. You're down 3 points in, you're on the 20-yard line, and you're not going to kick a field goal. What are you actually doing? How?
so that was
How?
stupid.
How?
That's stupid. But this, I think the first one was worse when they were up 24
Yeah,
to
it
10 in
was.
the third quarter, and you don't take the opportunity to go up 3 scores. A 3-score game, like, to a player is that's a lot. That's a lot more
Uh-huh.
than a 2-score game. Just like thinking about it,
Yeah. A two like in soccer, I would always say, and my coaches would always say, a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead.
the most dangerous lead in hockey,
Yeah.
2-goal lead.
Most
Yeah.
dangerous lead in soccer.
And I do just want to say this about there's a lot of things that the Lions did well that game. I will give them props. Jared Goff played a great game. I thought he played a great game.
I
He
can't believe
played a
they
lot better
sold
than I
that.
thought. But dog, like you're up 24 to 7. You're up 24 to 7. You're dominating the entire first half. You outplayed them. I mean, the 49ers won that game within what, 15 minutes? They played
Yeah.
15 minutes of good football and they ended up
Uh-huh.
Pretty
winning that game.
much.
Yeah.
That's why I was so confident on the Niners because there was just literally no way they were going there was no way the Lions were going to win that game. There just
I
wasn't.
was
They
I was saying
outplayed them
prayers during
for
that game.
they outplayed them for what, 45 minutes of the game, and they still lost.
Yeah,
There's just no way
pretty
that they were
much.
going to win that game.
Pretty
No
much.
way.
What was up
Um,
with David Montgomery getting a load of touches again? I feel like Jameer is kind of like taken like the number one role. Like it's still a split backfield for sure, but like Montgomery had 15 rushes to Gibbs's 12.
Yeah,
yeah,
I had Jameer all year in fantasy, and it was horrifying watching some of their games because they would
Yeah,
only run the ball to Dave
especially
Montgomery.
at the beginning.
Yeah, especially at
yeah.
the beginning of the year. They
Yeah.
it kind of evened out at the end, but at the beginning of the year it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I'll say about that is when you run so much with David Montgomery, when you do get Jahmyr Gibbs, you're going to get higher production level out of him because he's not going to be
Yeah.
as tired or like worn and tear. So I get that in a sense, but watching Jahmyr Gibbs against that Niners in the first half and basically all
He
game
was cooking. Yeah.
was disgusting. That touchdown that Jahmyr Gibbs had where he like had a hard cut, absolutely folded the defender and ran in for that touchdown. I was
Yeah.
watching it, I was like,
I don't know if you guys saw the clip. There's a clip of on that play Chase Young, and he's literally like walking at Jameer Gibbs, like easily could have tackled him or like made an attempt at tackling him, and he's just walking
He just
on the
said,
field.
nah, I'm not gonna try.
Chase Young, bro,
Yeah,
what a talent just for him to be mid.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just
For
to be
real.
mid. Like
pretty
he's
much.
had really good highs, but dude, for
Yeah.
the amount of talent level that he is, he needs to be so much better. Like,
For sure.
yeah. But yeah, again, I just want to say this. The one thing that I will give credit for in the Lions will be Jared Goff.
Dude.
Jared
Him
Goff
and
didn't,
Amon Ra. Amon Ra was always open. I swear, like
yeah,
every play, he was just wide open. Also, Sam Laporta.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Sam Laporta is
God,
just
he's so good. He's a
I
top three
like
tight end.
Jamison Williams had a great game as well.
He did. That
yeah.
Two
rush.
receptions and two
Or
touchdowns.
was that a
I
reception?
think he
I
had
thought it was a rushing
what?
touchdown.
Yeah, he had a rushing
Yeah.
play to start the
Oh,
game
did
in
he
the
have
first
a?
Yeah,
half.
it
It
was
was
Oh
like
like
the
yeah,
a
yeah,
third
yeah,
play of the
yeah.
game and they scored.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it reminded me a lot of his days at Alabama, just playing in a must-win game, making big plays. It just reminded me
Mhm.
just of watching him against I believe it was Ohio State or was it Georgia? I forget which one that it was in college where he just went off and won him the game. Yeah, Jameson
Yeah,
Williams, I'll
he's
give him his
always been a
flowers too,
baller.
but this year in the NFL, he was kind of just used as a deep threat, kind of like a dummy decoy, but
I bet
turns
Yeah.
out he's actually pretty good at
he'll have a
football.
step up next year for
Yeah, it
sure.
turns out that he's actually a first round talent, wide receiver. So
Yeah.
shout out Dan Campbell for just being a genius all the time. I can't believe that
You hate him so
I
much.
can't believe that people think he's good. I just can't.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
thought he
if you,
was, and I lost all hope.
yeah, if
I
you're a
go.
Lions fan,
I
you
was a
can't be
fan.
mad at him because
I
he got you there
yeah.
and his culture, I'll give him that. Like he has a really good culture and it's like he died on the hill that he'd been on all year and that's going
Uh-huh.
for it on fourth down.
Yeah,
That's how they had been
he never gave
successful
up on it.
and players
It's
rally
the
around that.
nerds ruining. They're ruining football analytics. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
ruining
but
it.
dude,
It's
Uh-huh.
ruining it.
if you're in an
You're
NFC
ruining it.
championship and you're
You take the
down
points. You take
3,
the fucking
how
points.
do
No
you
one
not
cares. Like,
Yeah,
take your field goal
exactly.
twice? Twice.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
But he didn't learn his
Two
lesson because
times.
I've been saying
Two
this. I
crucial
don't
times
care
too.
if he's butt naked open on 4th and 3. There's still a possibility that he dropped it. And Josh Reynolds literally dropped it. It
Yeah.
just because he's open doesn't mean it's gonna be a given. Not only that, but if you get the first down, you're still not guaranteed to score anyways. Take
yeah.
your points.
hmm
Oh my gosh. It is mind-boggling to me how they made the NFC Championship. I can't believe that they didn't get exposed earlier. I
No,
can't believe it. And
yeah.
I can't
They
believe that, bro. I literally almost had I made a bet where I was like, if the Lions somehow win this game and go to the Super Bowl, I'll buy a Jared Goff jersey. And I hate Jared Goff because I watched him on the Rams be the worst first overall pick of all time. I've watched him stink it up in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. I've watched him and I know he's
yeah.
not
That
good.
was
And
terrible.
so I hate Jared Goff. So I was so confident. And when they were up 24-7 at half, I almost had it bought and was ready to be shipped to my house. But
Dude,
no,
as a Chiefs fan, I always just think of Jared Goff being ridiculous because of the Chiefs Rams game. What was
yeah,
that, 28,
yeah,
18?
greatest. I think it was 18, greatest regular season game of all time or
Yeah,
whatever.
that
That game
was
was crazy.
Oh,
such a fun game to
Yeah.
watch. I watch that like at least 3 times a year.
Watching the Niners make that comeback in the third quarter was
Yeah,
literally
we
God's
haven't talked
plan.
about the Niners.
God's
Dude,
plan, bro.
Debo Samuel, I did not think he was gonna go off like that. He had a great game.
Mhm.
I thought his injury would have hindered him a bit more than that.
I didn't think Kyle Shanahan had it in him.
Yeah, I
After
know.
after he's a lead blower. He doesn't come back from leads. He blows them. I was surprised.
Yeah. I loved watching the Niners come back, especially with someone who was so confident in them. And once
Mhm.
that defense actually finally, hey, let's go out and actually be a, a top 10 defense. Let's actually go out and be an
Yeah,
elite
they
defense
clicked.
with Fred Warner, Travarius Ward. And they actually got some solid stops. They let their offense do their thing. Shout out Brock Purdy. I know everybody loves to hate on him. He played great. A lot of people are going to say that he didn't play well. He
Hmm.
He played
when the
well.
team
He played
when
very
the
well.
team needed him most and the pocket was collapsing, he ran, escaped, ran for 20 yards, put his body on the line, wasn't trying to run out of bounds. He was throwing his body on the line. That's what you want out of your
Yeah.
quarterback.
Hmm.
And I thought that game, making that comeback was enough to maybe not beat the game manager allegations, but I do think we do
Yeah.
have to give some respect to him. I know that he's got an
He had
all-pro
some
team
clutch
around him,
plays.
so obviously he's going to be elevated, but let's not pretend like he's bad. I would
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
No,
probably take I would
I
still probably
love the
take Brock
guy.
Purdy over Jared Goff personally,
Yeah.
but
I
I
love
think
the
that
guy
they're like
because
on the same tier regardless.
he was the quarterback at Iowa State when I like started actually getting into KU football a bit more, and he would just destroy us. That was, I think, Les Miles's last year at Kansas, and he would just sauce on us. I'm like, this guy's really good. He's got like all the passing records at Iowa State. Like he leads school records in so many different categories. Like he is a baller. He had clutch runs too in the
Yeah.
Lions game.
And one thing that I don't think people give him enough credit for, which I think part of the reason why what makes him so good is his ability to throw with anticipation, which that's what Kyle Shanahan wants. He wanted a game
Hmm.
manager who can make throws with anticipation to get his guys in open space on the run, and he does that very well. Like some of
Yeah.
these throws, yeah, they're going to be to wide open men, but they're not, if he's a tick behind, they're not going to be. So I do
Hmm.
think that in some regards even though he is kind of a game manager, like he doesn't really. I mean, he does elevate the team because we saw what Jimmy G did in San Francisco, and he didn't elevate him. I think Brock Purdy does a lot better job than him by
I
elevating that team,
definitely
but
agree.
he does what's asked of him, and he does it well. So
Yeah,
we do have to
for
give him his
sure.
respect there.
He made a bunch of good like plays in the pocket. He ducked underneath a defender on one play, spun out of it, and then he threw it. That was when Kyle Juszczyk had the toe tap on the sideline.
Yeah.
That was
Shout out
That
nasty.
Juicy
was
J,
a
bro.
crazy
He's
play.
good for one insane play every game, whether it be a
He had
front
two. He had
flip into the
another.
end zone.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
He had
dude,
another
he's
nice
a baller.
reception
I
down the
love
middle.
him so much.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. So
they got they destroyed them in the second half. They outscored
yeah,
them
In the
mainly the
fourth
27-7.
mainly
quarter.
the third. That third quarter they is when they were
Yeah.
cooking most, and then that fourth quarter is when they kind of like solidified the win.
Yeah.
But also shout out Brandon Ayuk for that crazy catch in the end zone. That was ridiculous
Dude, what was that? It
to ice the game,
bounced
basically.
off
So
the
That defender is having nightmares about that.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That was just a
yeah,
freak play.
yeah,
A
crazy
luck
athletic
play.
play. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk's a dog. He's
Hmm.
in a lot of like regards underrated. So shout out Brandon Ayuk.
For sure.
Um, which
That's
is
a
also kind
pretty
of
good
funny. I
move.
feel like George Kittle didn't even like really. I didn't really see his name a whole lot. Am I tripping?
Oh, he had some pancakes. He had some pancakes.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
He
the best
did.
blocking tight end in the league.
He's the best tight end in the
They
league.
shouted him
Yeah.
out a couple times for his blocking during the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Niners Chiefs. We're not going to talk about Super Bowl predictions this week. We're going to save that for next week. But yeah,
I'm
that'll
so
be a
ready
great
for it.
game, a good
Ready to watch
rematch.
the Chiefs win. Get
I do
the
think that Chiefs
back-to-back
Niners makes for the best
finally.
Super Bowl. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that was the best possible outcome for like game wise.
Oh,
Thank
dude,
God the
I would
Lions
have
aren't in the Super Bowl.
loved the
Just thank
Lions
God.
versus the Chiefs.
Absolutely not, because the Chiefs would have just beaten them by 40.
I
So
wanted payback. I
who
wanted
cares, bro?
payback.
Winning a Super Bowl is going to be payback enough, I guess.
Yeah, no,
But
we'll
yeah,
still
that'll
take
be
the
a fun
chip.
matchup. There's going to be so many studs in that game, like defense, offense,
Yeah.
playmakers. I mean,
Dude, the amount of defensive stars that will be
you
on the
you got
field.
arguably the best coach in the AFC and NFC going at it too. So
Yeah.
that'll just be a crazy good game.
I would
Who's the
say the
halftime?
best coach in the NFC and AFC.
It's a bunch of people.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, yeah. I don't know who the halftime is.
It's
I
isn't it like Jay-Z? Am I tripping?
maybe. I don't know.
Jay-Z? I have
I
no
haven't been
idea.
following it at all.
Yeah, but are you looking it up right now,
yeah.
Drew?
Yeah, I am.
Is it Taylor Swift?
Mm-mm,
No, it's
I'm
not.
playing.
it's
I'm
not.
playing.
They uploaded like a trailer.
Man.
I can't find.
All good.
Why is it
But
just popping up?
yeah, all good. But
Lost all my parlays by one tonight.
Oh, it's Black Eyed Peas.
What?
what?
Hell yeah.
That did you wait? That website was in Spanish, bro.
What are you looking at? Okay. Let's
It doesn't
get
matter.
to some NBA talk, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of what I wanted to talk about NBA, like I said, was our power rankings, but not power rankings as of right now because
Oh,
that's kind of boring. I feel like everybody will kind of know who the hottest teams are right now, but I want to talk about
that's
mainly about
nice.
teams that we think are going to make finals runs. I think like if the tournament started or not tournament, but if the playoffs started right now, what teams are we most confident in to make runs to make the finals? So in a sense, power rankings the best teams right now, but um spoiler, I don't have Thunder in my top five at the moment. I
Oh,
think if the
I
playoffs
was
started right
actually
now, I don't think that they would make it super far. Like I don't think they would make it to the conference finals. Um, in my
I was
opinion.
debating them. They're a mix of
Yeah.
5 and 6.
They're
Like
yeah,
I've got them tied for fifth, basically.
yeah,
They're losing
they're in
to the
my
Nuggets right now
I know.
without Jokic.
I know.
yeah, so I guess first thing would be
I
like
got their money line.
At home too.
I got their
if
money line.
who the Thunder or Nuggets?
Thunder.
Thunder. We're down
Thunder?
I have
7 right now.
all my 12 flip dollars are on it.
There you go. Shout out Fliff.
Plus
But
plus 100.
um so I have to ask you guys, if the playoffs started right now, who would be your finals winner? Like who do you think would be who this season has impressed you the most? Who do you have most confidence in to make the finals slash win the finals?
The most,
Gotta be
I
the
would say the
Celtics.
Nuggets. Dude, the Celtics are not gonna win it, and you know it.
Why? Why?
Because they're just gonna choke.
Why are they gonna choke?
I do love
Because they suck.
choking.
Oh hey Archer. I'm studying abroad with that kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
Jokic.
I think the Nuggets are I think they would win it right now.
Yeah, I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA at the moment. I know he's not going to win MVP most likely unless Joel Embiid
Mhm.
doesn't play enough games for the minimal, but because Embiid has pretty clearly been the MVP front runner all season. But I think when it comes down to the end of the day, value wise, I want Jokic.
Yeah.
He does everything for that team, and
I
he makes
think
them elite.
I think
So
also probably my second pick would be the Clippers. I
Clippers
think
are my number one.
Like they started out the season a little bit rough, but in the last 20 games, they probably have 18 or 19 wins. Like they've been on a crazy run.
Yeah, they are 25-5 in their last 30
They
games.
yeah, they
Just
clicked.
ridiculous.
They clicked for sure.
Beating the Celtics at home, or beating, I guess, on
Mm.
the road for them. Beating the
Does
Celtics at
this
home,
dude
one of
Yeah,
the
want to?
two
Can you
teams this
tell him to
season.
get out of the back?
I should move. I'm trying to blur my background. It's not working.
But yeah, the Clippers are my number one because at the end of the day, when it comes to
There you go.
playoff time, the one player that I want is Kawhi Leonard because defensively wise, he's going to
Yeah.
clamp the best player, and offensively wise, he's going to give you a smooth 50% efficiency rating, minimal 30-point game. And I think that he's the most valuable player when it comes to playoff time, maybe other than
I would
Jokic or
agree.
Giannis.
Yeah.
And then Paul George, again, he's a dog, super smooth.
Crazy
Again,
good
just
still.
efficient. And then they got
Somehow.
Harden. Again,
They
he's been good.
always choke in the playoffs. The Clippers do, no
I
matter
don't
who
know.
the
This
Mm,
players
team is
are.
really
I feel
good.
like it's
They've been
different this
together
year,
for
though.
like 2 years, though.
Yeah,
Two
but
or
This
three
they
team's
years.
didn't.
How long have they
Yeah,
been
good.
but they had
together?
injuries. They had injuries. Like
This
Kawhi
team's
Leonard didn't even
good.
play last season.
Yeah.
And when it came, I mean, we saw him go against a very good Suns team, and they won game one when they had no Paul George. And Kawhi Leonard won that game. He had a 40-point triple double damn near. I think he was one rebound away from having a 40-point triple double.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt, unfortunately. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what's going to stop him from making the finals in my eyes, is just injuries. If Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden are all healthy, they're all on the field,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess
Court.
court,
Nice try.
they're going to make the finals, in my opinion. Not only that,
Yeah.
but Norman Powell casually been one of the best shooters in the league this
Yeah,
year.
It's been
he's been
crazy.
really good.
Terrence
Yeah.
Mann is one of the best bench players in the league. I mean, Amir Coffey, he's underrated. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's crazy good or anything, but he's a really solid role player for them.
Yeah.
Zubac is
Mm-hmm.
actually one of the best bigs in the
Yeah.
league. He's a double-double machine. So
He
yeah,
or the Clippers are out of like all the games that I've watched out of the Thunder, the teams that have looked like they were the only teams that have looked like they were actually better than the Thunder, like every time that we played them, are the T-Wolves and the Clippers. I
yeah,
think both of those teams are, I don't know if it's just they're just really exciting teams to play or if they really are that good, but yeah,
T-Wolves are
yeah.
nasty, I think.
T-Wolves are nasty.
I got them at my number five. I
Really.
was I
Really, I
was
have
higher on
them
them
at
before, but
3.
recently their offenses kind of struggled. They have blown a lot of fourth quarters and they've kind of tempered down. That defense is still elite. That's still the best defense in the league, in my opinion. And defense is going to, like, at the end of the day, that is going to be the most valuable thing when it comes to playoff times, is having a lockdown defense.
Yeah,
But their offensive struggles has made me be a little bit more hesitant on them because we've seen them struggle on offense in the playoffs before. And I know that they have some injuries. I'm pretty sure Mike Conley is hurt right now, and that's not super good for them because that's like their true point guard. Anthony Edwards
yeah.
bringing up the court, he's more of an ISO guy rather than he is a distributor. So I think once Mike Conley gets back, they will be better, but I don't know. I've seen the Timberwolves in the playoffs before. I've seen them choke, but they are a little bit different this year. I
Yeah.
think they finally figured out the
It's
cat and Rudy Gobert, that two tall running two bigs at the same time, and it's worked.
yeah.
So they are a
Uh-huh.
very scary team. If it comes playoff time and they're hot, that they will be hard to stop.
Yeah,
But
it's really cool because last year, like OKC and the Timberwolves both barely snuck into the playing game and played each other in the playing game. They beat us, obviously, but now we're
now they're both
like
1-2
two
in the
two
West.
top three, two top four teams in the West
Yeah,
right now. Yeah,
yeah. So
they feel
Timberwolves are
like
good. I mean,
our
Anthony
brothers.
Edwards is
He's
the most
ridiculous.
electrifying
Yeah,
player
he's
I've
so
ever seen
awesome.
ever. That
Yeah.
He's so
putback dunk that he
awesome.
had the other day, we're recording this on the 31st of January. That putback dunk the other day, he was maybe in the air for what, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
That was like,
Oh my,
Was
I've
it
never
yeah.
like
seen
three
someone
days
jump
ago,
that high in
two
my
days
entire
ago?
life.
Yeah.
It was like it was like he was on a trampoline. That was
Yeah, he
unfair.
just levitated. He got
Yeah.
It's
so
it's
high above
ridiculous.
the bucket.
Yeah,
Dude is
He's been good shooting this year too.
he
His
Yeah.
like
has
mid-range
He's just
pull up
good.
off the
everything.
ISO. He's improved much more on that from
Uh-huh,
last year.
for sure.
Every year he's improved and he just continues to get better and he just continues to like go up higher on my player rankings.
Yeah,
He's fun to root for too. Like he's just
he
one of the
is.
most fun players to
He
watch in this
is.
league because he's likable, electrifying. He's like if John Morant didn't go hood. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
just plain and simple.
He is
So,
like John Morant.
but
Morant.
better
I always say that. John Morant before like he turned hood.
gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a
Drew,
good
who
look.
who are your top five right now? Teams.
Like honestly, I don't really. I hate the NBA. I hate watching the NBA. I think it's
I in
literally the
my
worst.
in my power rankings right now, I have the Celtics number one, Denver number two,
Really?
Minnesota number three, Clippers number four, and then a tie for five between the Bucks and the Thunder.
Okay. I don't hate that. My top five in order go Clippers, Nuggets. Um, I do think that the Nuggets they're gonna have a really good shot at running it back.
Yeah.
They still got all their players. They lost a couple
Yeah.
role players like Bruce Brown, but at the end of the day, who cares? You won the finals. You're not
They
gonna
still
pay him
got
that much
Christian
money that he
Brown.
wanted.
Ah,
Yeah, and so Nuggets are my two. Then I got Bucks at three just because Giannis, in some regards, is still the best player in the
yeah,
league at times, and I am just such a fan of him and what he does for a team. Damian Lillard, I think, can turn up when it comes playoff time.
for sure.
That's still a very good team, so they're at my three. Then I got the Celtics. You could argue Celtics
Wow.
over Bucks, but
You have them
personally,
at four.
I'm personally higher
Is
on
that for right
just
now, or is that for your like in the playoffs?
it's
Like
kind of a mixture of both. Like
The
what I've
Bucks have
seen so
kind of
far.
been
They,
shit lately.
yeah,
They've
I do
kind of
think when
been
it
iffy.
I would lean more towards like my predictions when it comes to playoff times, when it comes to like like basketball, because it is kind of different when it is in the regular season.
It
But the Celtics
definitely
still
is.
are my
It's a
number
massive
four.
difference.
If they were to make it out of the East, I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
um because Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, they've played like one of the best trios in the league this year, if not the best, other than the Clippers. Um, so yeah, the Celtics, I'll give them their flowers. And then I had Timberwolves at five. Teams that I have on the bubble that aren't in my top five, but I think that again, like if they're hot at the right time, get out their way. Um, I
Thunder.
have the Thunder. I then have the Suns, and then my last two teams that I want to talk about. Ethan, when we had our first episode and we were talking about the Cavaliers and
Hmm.
how they were disappointing, they then just went on like a 9-1. Like they've just
I
casually
know.
been like one of the hotter teams. Like I swear to God, we just jinxed them.
Yeah.
So shout out everybody who's a Cleveland
Yeah,
Cavaliers fan. You're welcome.
they've been
You're
great
welcome.
recently.
Yeah,
Shout
they've
out Grant Edwards, my big.
yeah, but they just got Evan Mobley back, and that's my defensive player of the year. Final,
They're
that was my prediction.
Yeah, we
He's
talked
really good.
about
He almost had a
like
double double.
Max Struess. He's been
Yeah,
great for him this year.
yeah. The Cavaliers just decided to turn up when we were talking shit on
D
them.
Mitch,
So
obviously.
yeah, D
yeah,
He's
Mitch has
Donovan
been doing
Mitchell's
his
been
thing.
gross.
he's been I think he's leading the league in steals. Or
He's at two behind
yeah,
Shea. I checked this
he
morning.
was behind Shea. Yeah. We talked
Yeah,
about that like last podcast.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's been having an insane year.
yeah, Cavaliers have been turning up. If they're hot at the right time, they could be a scary team. But this team, I think, has the best upset capabilities out of any of them, and it's the Pacers. Because
Exactly. They're an
like we saw in
upset
that
team.
in-season
That's
tournament,
who they are.
they're fast play. They know how to shoot the lights out of the building. If they get hot and Tyrese Halliburton stays healthy, Siakam, he is playing good basketball. Obi
Miles
Toppin's
Turner.
been good. I've never
Miles
been high
Turner.
on Obi Toppin in my
Yeah.
entire life. I never thought for a second I'd ever be talking about Obi Toppin in a good way, but he's been good for them. So that team, I think if it comes playoff time and they got their mojo going, bro,
Hmm.
they could beat
And
anyone. Like
like
they almost went into the Celtics the other day and beat them at home. Like
exactly. The
they're a
East is
Scary
scary
game.
also
team.
a little bit more top heavy, so like they have a good chance to go far. And like I will probably be betting on that, like both of those teams to go far because
Yeah.
they really the only teams that will for sure, that have a good chance of beating them are the Bucks and the Celtics. Either of those teams. I think they
Yeah.
beat anyone else.
Maybe Sixers, but we know what they do
I
every
don't
year in the
know.
playoffs.
I
Just
don't know.
choke.
I don't
Just
I don't
choke.
like the
Just
Sixers.
choke.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, all he does is choke. I don't care what he does in the regular season. I don't care if he wins an MVP. I don't care. Bummy superstar
He,
Joel
he can
Embiid.
only
He's
miss like
trash.
3 more games or he's
I know.
ineligible for
No. Which is
awards.
it's
Hey,
bad for me though
once a
because I
Jayhawk, always a
had
Jayhawk. I'll always root for him.
I hope
It's
Joel
before
Embiid
the
plays.
All-Star break.
I know. I hope Joel Embiid plays because
That's
if he
crazy.
doesn't, then it's going to be a race between Shea and Jokic to
And
win an
Jokic.
MVP. And I have
Yeah.
a bet with Nate that Shea doesn't win an MVP. So I
Within the
pray to
next 3
God.
years,
I
bro.
know.
You have it
But that was
within
my
the next 3 years. Imagine if he does it this year. Oh
Luca
my
might be
God.
up there.
he is up there,
Yeah,
but
Luca
he's also
is up
bummy.
there. He's got better stats by like in all categories than Shea right now.
Yeah. Is
He's
he
been
really?
going off. Yeah. Every category, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not steals, but like points, rebounds, assists. I'm pretty sure he's beating him in all of those.
One real quick thing that I want to say about Luca, we won't get into it a lot right now because this deserves a complete segment on its own because that's how passionate I am about it. Luka Doncic, you're fraudulent. You suck at
Oh,
basketball. You are
oh,
trash.
whoa,
Wow.
whoa.
I don't care what anyone says. No one will change my mind. Luka Doncic, you're a fraud. You had Jalen Brunson, who is now on one of the best teams in the East, being an all-star, dropping 28 points a game, and you did nothing with him. Kristaps Porzingis was on your team. You did absolutely with nothing with him. He's one of the best players on one of the best teams in the East, and people are going to complain and baby you and say that, oh my gosh, he does so much for his team. You just dropped a 70-point, 12 assist game, and you barely beat one of the worst defensive teams in the league, the Atlanta Hawks, by 3 points. You're fraudulent. You are terrible at basketball. Go back to Europe. That's all I have to say.
Personally, I think he's pretty fucking good. I think he's in top three in the MVP race, like we mentioned earlier.
No, he
Um,
is. He has the stats to back it up, but guess what? He missed the playoffs last year, and they're not going to do shit in the playoffs this year because you know why? Because he's fraudulent. Nobody wants to talk about how bad he is on defense. He's arguably the worst defensive player in the league. No one wants to talk about
Oh,
it because it's Luka
he
Doncic.
is.
So
they've actually
that's all
been
I got to
so
say.
mid this year, the Mavericks.
Does anybody know that Kyrie Irving plays basketball on the Dallas Mavericks? Does anybody know?
No,
No, of
he
course you don't.
does. I
Because
forgot
Luka
about that.
Doncic just gets all the spotlight. Bro, I was watching the game highlights of the Orlando Magic and Dallas Mavericks game in which like Derek Lively went up and got a rebound and threw it and they like had a fast break dunk to like take the lead. Then the camera goes to Luka Doncic. Excuse me, he had nothing to do with the play. Why is the camera going on Luka Doncic? It's because he's the golden child of the NBA right now.
He is.
He can't do
He
anything
is.
wrong. Everybody just wants to worship him, say that he's blah, 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 blah. I don't care. He's fraudulent. That's my take right now. But we'll talk about that on a later segment, even though I kind of just ranted. But
Shout out to the Thunder. We're in the lead. We're
oh,
up.
are they really?
We're up 8 points
Yeah.
with
They're,
3
they're coming
minutes
back from that
left.
Nuggets. There you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Our bench stepped up big time.
yeah, we were talking about Luca because he was like third in MVP voting. If Luca wins MVP
He
over
won't.
Shea,
No, he
I don't
won't.
even I don't
He won't.
even care about my $20 bet with Nate. If Luca wins MVP over Shea this year,
Yeah,
I will
I
be
would be.
so upset. I will pay $60 to watch Luca not ever win an MVP. I like my hatred for Luca, as you can tell, is very high.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that. I didn't know you had such a hatred for Luca.
Yeah, we'll get into that in
This
a later podcast episode, but a lot
that's
of it
how I
has to
feel about
deal.
Embiid.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't like
This
Embiid either,
this
so I
dude
get you on that.
nonstop goes off on
Oh,
Embiid.
you're a Celtics
He
fan, so yeah, you
hates
really don't
him.
like Embiid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I hate the way he plays basketball and he's on the Sixers. So like
there you go. I don't blame you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Hey, if being a Celtics fan means that you have to hate Joel Embiid, sign me up. Sign me up. I'll buy a Jason Tatum jersey right now. Um,
Speaking of,
Speaking of Jason Tatum,
who'd you
what
rather?
perfect
Come on,
segment. Hold on.
come on.
Let me pull up my list. Okay, so what I want to
Oh,
say
bet.
about this Would You Rather is since NBA season's going on right now, this is going to be current. So not
Right now,
don't care about their contract like we were kind of talking about in the last podcast. Has nothing to do with contract, has
just like
nothing to do with age.
who'd you rather
Who
have for the
would you
rest of the
rather
season?
have? It's a vacuum. Every team gets erased. No team has any players. You're up on the draft. You have to pick Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, first name up.
Huh,
Which, if you're a
huh.
Celtics, again, starting off pretty easy, I would rather have Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
Tatum.
yeah. Tatum.
Tatum's very
How
easy.
how has Brown been doing this
He's
year?
been good. He's had some really good shooting nights. He's had some really bad shooting nights. His defense is all he always plays defense. The whole Celtics team actually always plays defense,
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially late in game. They're like their rotations and everything is so much faster than all the other NBA games I watch. And but Brown, he's had some really bad shooting nights. Like some one for 13 nights, and he just keeps hucking
yeah.
them up. All three, the whole Celtics team just shoot 3-pointers all day, all day. And so when they go cold, they go really cold.
Yeah,
yeah,
they've been an interesting duo this year, Jaylen Brown and
yeah.
Jason Tatum. I feel like
That
they're playing really mid to their standards this year.
they really haven't though. Tatum's played amazing. His stats are down, but I really don't give a fuck about his
Yeah, I
stats.
mean you have Kristaps
Um,
who's taking a shit
his
ton now.
Not even that though. Tatum's just he's been distributing the ball very well, and he's had some off shooting nights, but he makes three threes a game usually.
Yeah,
But like I think he shoots too many threes. I think if Tatum went to the hoop every time, like Shea does pretty much,
yeah, he'd be better.
Tatum would be scoring up the
Yeah.
30s where he was last year.
Uh-huh.
But he just shoots so many threes. The whole team does really.
It's such a I hate it about the NBA
It's
is
Joe
like
Mazzulla
it's just
especially.
like this league just forces the three so much. Like everyone feels like they have to shoot threes and like
You
be
can't
good
be on
at
the
it.
Celtics unless you know how to shoot a
Yeah.
3-pointer. It's the
Yeah.
rule. It's the
It's
only
kind of
rule.
I feel like it's kind of started to change recently with the big man point guard, that new type of
Yeah.
player. I feel like it's kind of changed. Like those have been a little bit
Even
more
they shoot
overpowered
threes
than the
like it's
shooter.
nothing
Yeah,
I
but
too,
know
like
though.
they still are good
Wembenyama
Yeah,
and
shooters
Chet
too.
are good
Yeah.
shooters. Like
yeah.
Uh-huh.
You got to be a good shooter nowadays. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what sets the good teams apart is just being an efficient shooting team. When
Yeah.
you can shoot, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't matter
That's
what
why
defense you face. If you can shoot the ball, you're gonna compete. And I think that's why teams are leaning more towards shooting is because it's more universal
that's why
when
the
it comes to
Thunder are
defense.
better. Like
Yeah,
are
that's why the
good
Thunder are
this
a
year.
scary
We're
team is
so
because they're just
efficient.
the most efficient team in the
Yeah.
league.
Uh-huh.
We're getting off topic. Back to
Yeah.
Jason Tatum. If you would have asked me Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown like a year or two ago, I would have been like, hey, it's 1A, 1B. But I think this year and
really.
even the second half of last season, Jason Tatum has made it clear that he is easily the better player.
I think I would
Um,
probably have always said Jason Tatum like off the bat.
yeah, most
The
people
minute
would.
Tatum
I
was
wasn't super
drafted.
high on Tatum. I wasn't super high on Tatum to begin with, but
Yeah.
now he's legit. He has a lot more. I've had he's earned a lot more respect out of me in recent years. Um, Next name up, would you rather, this is another easy one. Would you rather Jason Tatum or Mikal Bridges? Jason Tatum
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
clearly for me.
Definitely Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
He's
I just wanted to,
Bridges is actually having a good season. Despite
yeah,
being on
Yeah.
an atrocious team, he's been
yeah,
pretty solid.
that Nets team is
Brooklyn sucks.
holy. I mean, it's Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, and then
I couldn't name another person besides those two on their roster, honestly.
Yeah.
like is Seth Curry still playing? Is he in the league
No,
still?
he's
Is
not.
I
He's on
don't
the
know.
Mavs. He's on the Mavs.
just could not name another Nets player. Oh, Cam Thomas, walking
Cam
bucket. There you go.
Thomas.
No, I'm
Yeah.
playing. Okay, this is gonna be the
I know
first
who that
hard
is, I
one.
guess.
This is gonna be the first hard one, in which I still don't even know. Um, would you rather Jason Tatum or Tyrese Halliburton? I still feel like you gotta say Tatum. I want to
I
say Halliburton because I
so
love him as a player, but I feel like you have to say Tatum just because he's a lot better defensively.
Tatum is one of the most underrated defenders in the entire NBA. When he actually tries, granted that isn't a lot of the time, but when he's actually going like full on defense, he is one of the best on ball defenders in the NBA. Just because of his he's a 7 foot wingspan. And he's 6'8". Like you're gonna be able to put your hand up and get in people's face shooting,
Yeah,
Dude,
especially.
I would. I want to say Halliburton
yeah.
on
Like I
this.
want to say Halliburton,
I've
but
I've watched
Tatum just
Halliburton
proved
play
it though.
for like 7 years now because he was a baller at Iowa State. He, well, like I've said, KU losing to Iowa State, we always lose to Iowa State when we go play it in Ames. He was definitely a part of multiple KU losses. Like he was so good in college. It's ridiculous that he didn't like have more hype than he did.
Yeah, I think that there is an argument for Halliburton, just because he's a better passer.
Much
We
better.
he we've seen
He's
him
like one of the
be.
best in the league, honestly.
No, yeah,
Not as
I
good
mean
as Josh
he's
Giddey, but
averaging 12 assists a game.
yeah.
He's leading assists. He's ridiculous.
And he's
Um,
averaging just as many points as Jason Tatum too, but
mm,
like 5 more assists.
yeah, and that is fair, but again, defensively, like Tatum just
Yeah,
He's a
clears.
Tatum
liability. He's a
Tatum is
liability
definitely better.
defensively too.
Yeah,
He's
the
not
Yeah,
even
pace
bad. He's
so
the
the whole
Pacers
team's a
team,
liability on
yeah.
defense.
They
yeah,
have such a bad defense.
not only that, but Jason Tatum has been to like the Western Conference Final. Like he's
Yeah,
been there. He has the experience. So I feel like I have to lean Jason Tatum, even though I want to
yeah.
say Tyrese Halliburton.
No, I realistically, yes, Tatum, but I like I like
Yeah,
Halliburton more,
Halliburton's
so
more
I'm gonna
fun
take
for
him.
me.
And Drew's here, so I have to go against Tatum a few times.
Would you rather Jason Tatum or Devin Booker?
Hmm.
That's a tough
I,
one.
I've never really been a
I'd
fan of
rather,
Devin Booker, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, Booker's. I feel like he dogs it some nights. Like
Yeah.
Mm,
even in the playoffs, when they had that finals run, he did not show up in some games.
hmm Yeah,
yeah, I do think.
I like Tatum's style of play a lot more than
I
Booker's too.
hate Tatum's style of play. Tatum
I just I
complains at every single whistle.
okay, okay, yes. Not like
Is
that. You
most
know what I
fr-
mean? What type of
I
player he
know.
is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean towards Tatum just because Devin Booker. We've seen him be decent on defense, but at the end of the day, I'm not confident in him at all defensively. So again, kind of like Tyrese Halliburton, even though offensively they can be very similar, and we've seen Devin Booker drop like 70 points in a game, and he can explode at any
Yeah.
moment. But we've also seen Tatum in a game seven drop a 50 bomb in order to advance them. So I think I have to lean Tatum. I think again it would
Yeah.
be foolish of me to doubt Tatum in
Mhm.
that aspect.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I'm going Tatum on that
Booker's
too.
also Booker's like low key the number two on that. Like Kevin Durant's
Yeah.
no,
taking the
not low
last
key.
shot in the game.
This year
Booker is
Yeah,
the number
he
two.
yeah,
He
he's
is the
number
number
2.
two.
I
that
Yeah.
wouldn't
also.
And
yeah.
thinking about it in this perspective, if we're in a vacuum and I don't have anyone on my team, I would rather build around Jason Tatum than Devin Booker. I
I
would
would
rather
too.
have that player.
I would too. Tatum's younger too. I mean, I know this
Yeah.
isn't our like
Yeah.
conversation for the future, but Tatum's younger
He
Yeah.
as
definitely
well.
is.
Um, next name up, we kind of talked about him earlier, but Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards.
Hmm.
I think this is going to be the first name that I'm going to pick against Jason Tatum. I'm going to take Anthony Edwards. Um, Freak athlete, can score, can literally do anything offensively that you ask him to. He can shoot
hmm
mid-range, not super well, but we've seen spurts where he is a great mid-range shooter, but then 3-point wise, he can shoot it. Athletically, he's going to get to the rim no matter what. You can put prime Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, three-man guarding him, and he's still going to find a way to just absolutely
Yam.
yam that ball in. And then defensively, he's just such an athlete that when it comes down to it, and he actually, like again, like Tatum, when he actually, fucks around and actually plays defense for once, I do think that he is actually a pretty decent defender, even though we don't see it all the time, just because he has the athleticism to basically go on par with anyone. So
Uh-huh.
I am gonna lean it towards Anthony Edwards.
I'm gonna say Tatum every time because you gotta support your guys. But I think Tatum's a much better shooter than him, just like in general.
Yeah,
And
I would
and
agree.
then defense, like call it a wash, basically. Like because if
I
they're
think
both,
Tatum is better defensively. Tatum is
yeah,
better
I mean even
defensively.
that, yeah. If they're like, but if they're both trying, like they're both they're defending whoever they're guarding isn't scoring an insane amount of points if they're
Yeah.
trying the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just think Tatum's such a better offensive. He's a more complete offensive player than Anthony Edwards is.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I'm not gonna argue it. It's very close, but
Yeah, definitely close.
I
yeah,
think this is the closest one yet. I think this gap is closer than the Halliburton one, but
yeah,
I think off of recency bias, kind of like Halliburton, I'd take Ant over him. And this one,
yeah,
I actually feel fine with saying that, with saying Ant over Tatum. He's
yeah,
he's such an electric player. Like I would be fine just having him on my team and having bombs as the rest of the team if I get to watch him. Like he's like Russell Westbrook when he was at OKC. Like it's just like the most electric player by far in the NBA.
yeah, yeah. That one's definitely the closest one so far, but I do think I lean towards Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Next name up, uh, would you rather Jason Tatum or Damian Lillard?
Ooh. I would say
I think I gotta go
Tatum.
Definitely,
Tatum. I gotta go Tatum,
definitely
bro.
Tatum.
I would say
Lillard,
Tatum.
I think that the Bucks getting Lillard in that trade is a good thing for the Celtics because
Really.
I don't think well they lost depth. They don't have Drew Holiday anymore. We have Drew Holiday, who is a 10 times better defender than Damian Lillard is.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard is a horrible defender. He's also 6 foot, maybe. Um, and I just think
6 foot
they're
two.
is he really? Wow. But he looks small on
That's
NBA kids, I
short.
He
That's
guess.
does.
short for an
Yeah,
NBA
that's
kid.
short
Yeah.
6 foot
now.
two is
Six
you
foot
might as
Yeah.
two
well
is
be
like what
6 foot.
6 foot was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. I just don't think Damian Lillard helps the Bucks in a positive way when it comes playoff time.
Yeah.
Regular season, sure, get
I
your 30 points and shit, but when it comes
yeah.
playoff time, I really don't think he helps them.
Mhm. Yeah, I
I think you're
agree.
bringing up a great point when it comes to playoff time. Because we're gonna see teams like the Cavaliers, like the Pacers, any team in the East that faces that Bucks team, what they're gonna be doing is attacking. They're gonna be attacking Damian Lillard because he's just that
Yeah.
much of a liability. Pick and roll wise, no matter like
I really if the Cavs and
Doc
Bucks come
Rivers is
up
gonna have
together,
to cook.
if
Doc
the
Rivers is gonna have
Cavs
to
and
cook on
Bucks,
defense
yeah.
to somehow not let up 150 points every game.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers is like 1 in 15 in the second round in his career in the NBA. His only win was the championship with the Celtics.
Mm. But I do want to give some respect to Damian Lillard. I do
Mhm.
think when it comes
He's a
down to
good
time,
player
if they
still.
can figure out that pick and roll with Giannis, again, even if they're letting up 150, they can score 151 with that pick and roll with
Yeah.
how good Giannis and Damian Lillard are. So even though we haven't really
Dude's
quite seen it be that dominant yet, the potential's still there in my eyes, and that still could be
Definitely,
a
yeah.
lethal offensive
dude's
team.
also still like balling at a high level. He's like
Yeah,
34 probably now. Like
I
he's
have no
aging.
idea.
He's
Yeah,
aging for
he
sure.
is up there, but he's
Yeah.
still a baller. Still one of the better offensive players in the league, but So is Tatum, and Tatum's a lot better defensively, so I would lean Tatum.
Yeah.
Um, Next name up, Jason Tatum or Jimmy Butler. This is one that we see quite a
Mm.
bit. Both play the same position. Both are kind of the best player on their team. Celtics Heat. That's kind of a not a rival, but that's kind of like two teams that we kind of see play each other a lot.
It kind of
So
was there for, well,
yeah,
it kind of still is. The
Jimmy
Heat have kind of
Butler,
taken a drop off, but
yeah. I'm so scared of them in the playoffs though.
oh
But
yeah, oh
just
yeah,
because of Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler isn't like not nearly as good of an offensive player as Tatum, like whatsoever. In my opinion, the like what was I just gonna say? Um, I completely
I'm
lost my train of thought.
I'm a big supporter. I really, really like Jimmy Butler. I think he can kind of be overrated sometimes just because of he might have the best clutch gene in the NBA right now, other than like LeBron, probably. But his clutch gene makes him overrated, I think.
yeah,
Well, I
I think that's
remember what I was
fair.
gonna. Sorry, I remember what I was gonna say now. Jimmy Butler gets like gritty points and stuff, like which is huge in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like, if you're starting an NBA franchise with one player, I think you got to pick Tatum over Jimmy Butler. He's just a more dynamic player on the offense, especially.
OKC won by 5.
Nice.
There you go, money
25
line
bucks in the
cashes.
flip. 25 bucks
Nice.
in the flip.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, I do think when it comes to playoffs, Jimmy Butler is significantly more valuable than he is in the regular season.
Hmm.
But even at that, I think I think the gap is close. If you would ask me a year ago, I probably would have said Jimmy Butler. But I do think the gap is closed. I think Jason Tatum is slightly better, postseason or regular season. I still think I just gotta lean Tatum.
Yeah.
Again, like I've watched Jason Tatum grow as a defensive player. I've watched him grow as an offensive player. His bag is huge. He can
Yeah.
score in a lot of different ways. He can do a lot of different things at an elite level. And I'm not particularly a fan of the Celtics. I don't really like Jason Tatum. That just shows you how good of a player he is to where he earns my respect.
Yeah.
So I am going to lean
He's
towards Jason Tatum.
definitely one of the more versatile guys in the NBA on both sides of the
Yeah,
ball too.
yeah. He's one of the best two-way players in the league.
Yeah.
Um, this next name up though, I think he does it a little bit better than Tatum. Would you rather Jason Tatum or Paul George? To me,
Mm.
I think Paul George is just better in a lot of different things. Although Tatum is a better shooter, maybe Paul George has been one of the best three-point shooters in the league. I think he leads the league in three-pointers made. If not, he's top five,
All
100%
I know
guaranteed.
is he destroyed the Thunder a couple weeks ago.
Yep. And I think defensively, I would lean towards Paul George over Tatum. I do think George is that solid on defense, and he's got the experience.
He's
I'm
shooting
gonna go with Paul George
42%
personally.
from 3.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he's been
And he
super good
takes a
this
lot of
year.
threes too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lean towards Paul George, but there it's kind of like not really 1A, 1B. It's more like 1, 2, but it's not like super far away. Like they are kind of like on the same level, but I would lean towards Paul George pretty easily.
Yeah. Paul George, he was before he went to the Thunder, he was one of those guys where like he's a really good player and it's crazy talent, but like you never really paid attention to him. And like I was never very high on him because I never watched him. And then he came to the Thunder and he played for us. I was like, holy shit, this guy's like a top 5 player
He can
in the
do
NBA.
everything.
Yeah.
He can do
Like
everything.
he's a ridiculous player. And
Tatum's
I
my
think
guys. Go.
I'm taking Paul George.
Tatum's my guy, and honestly, I haven't watched a single minute of the Clippers play basketball. I don't even know. I haven't watched anything. I saw Zubac was on the team. Found that out yesterday. I haven't watched any Clippers basketball, so I honestly have no idea how Paul George has been. But
He's been
I'm
good.
taking Tatum.
Really good.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, Paul George, he's been even better than what he is now. I just think that just goes to show you how talented he truly is as a basketball player. But I would take Paul
His
George.
this out of every season in his career, this is his most efficient season.
Yeah.
Really?
Efficiency wise,
Yeah.
it's through the roofs. I mean, watching him shoot, it could be like a contested 2 foot behind the 3-point line shot, and I'm still like, oh, that bitch is
It's
in.
gonna
Like,
go in. Yeah,
he's just been that good.
it just falls.
I'm not gonna lie, these next 3 names are a little unfair for Tatum. These are some of the best players in the league, but that's kind of the ranking that Jason Tatum's in. He
He
is in
is.
that
He
conversation.
is in that
But
Definitely.
conversation.
would you rather Jason Tatum or Anthony Davis? I'm taking Anthony Davis pretty easily in my eyes. I just think defensively wise, he's significantly better, and offensively wise, come playoff time, we've seen Anthony Davis drop 30 points like it's nothing.
If
So I
we're
am gonna go
if
with Anthony Davis.
I would
Healthy
probably, yeah,
Anthony
like
Davis.
off the top of my head, I'm going with Jason Tatum. But if I had Anthony Davis confirmed healthy from right now until the end of the playoffs, I'd probably take Anthony Davis. But like I would say Jason Tatum just because Anthony Davis will probably get hurt within that time.
I just think it's a hard comparison because it's like a center versus a
Very different.
person
Yeah,
that can play isolation basketball,
yeah, very different.
like score from anywhere on the court. And I mean, Anthony Davis can shoot the three in mid range, but he can't ISO like dribble up the court every possession like Tatum could. So like starting a franchise like in a vacuum, I'd want Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's fair. For me, I just think Anthony Davis is the better player. So I'm gonna say Anthony Davis, but
No, he's
again,
he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
yeah, like I
Doesn't
said,
get talked
it's
about enough because he's always hurt.
And he's
yeah,
with LeBron.
yeah.
And he's with
I think
LeBron.
watching him last playoffs when the Lakers were making that playoff run,
Yeah.
unfortunately they got steamrolled by a really good Nuggets team that eventually won the finals, but they were doing their thing
Yeah,
that entire playoff run,
it
and
was
Anthony Davis
kind
was
of
a huge part
obvious
of
that
it.
they were gonna win that.
Yeah, and I think Anthony Davis showed me enough to still have confidence in him after all these years of being injured and having that question mark on him. I think watching him dominate in the playoffs is enough for me to be like, no, he's still elite.
Yeah.
Next
He
name
got
up,
hurt last night, apparently. Anthony
Of
Davis.
course. Of
of
course he
course,
did.
of course.
He was out. He was out last night with a bilateral Achilles,
Of
whatever that
course.
means, and left hip spasms.
Sounds
Yeah.
like made up injuries for a rest night.
Um, and then last name before we wrap up this episode of the Bedsheet BallZone. This one again isn't really close for me, but Kawhi Leonard or Jason Tatum. I'm taking Kawhi Leonard just because he does
I'm taking
literally
Kawhi.
everything better than Jason Tatum. Even though it's not by a lot, he does everything better than Jason Tatum in my eyes. So I have to say Kawhi Leonard.
I'm taking Kawhi. Yeah, he's really good. He
He's so
might
good.
I'm still taking Tatum,
like
but
there
Kawhi does have the championship
there's
experience
there's
too.
definitely days where I'm saying like holy shit, Kawhi might be the best basketball player in the league.
Kawhi's got the championship experience too, but I'm still taking
He
Tatum because
does.
it's
He has almost everything over
Tatum.
That
Alex,
was a
how do
little
you get up for that
disrespectful,
take?
but
him.
Kawhi Leonard's my dog.
He's
I will go to war and
always
back for
he's
him.
always been on the Kawhi Leonard hill. He would die on that hill.
I respect you for picking Tatum because you're a Celtics fan and that's your boy. Kawhi Leonard's my boy, and unfortunately, my boy's better than your boy. So,
I don't
and
know
he's
about
got not
that.
one but 2 Finals MVPs to back it up.
Oh
So,
yeah.
how many Finals MVP does Jason Tatum have?
Oh, we're still waiting for this
We're
year.
still waiting.
We're mid season right now.
Oh
Who beat
my.
who at home?
Imagine if
Who did
Shea
the Clippers
has a
beat at home?
finals MVP
Yeah,
before the
regular season. I don't count regular season basketball as meaning anything.
yeah. I kind of like
Neither
that.
does the playoffs for the Celtics because they have
Ah!
0 finals appearance in the past couple of years. So
Okay,
I don't know. They
Alex,
went to the
Alex,
finals.
you
Oh
don't
wait, no,
even like
didn't they go to Golden State?
you don't even
They
have a
lost,
Okay, yeah,
but
that's
team,
fair. They
bro.
lost. They lost, but
yeah,
You
that
can't
was
be shitting
sad.
on people's teams if you don't like have a team you support.
I support the Clippers, bro. James
No,
Harden and
you
Kawhi Leonard are the
support
two greatest players of all
Kawhi.
time,
You
and
support
James
Kawhi and
Harden,
James Harden.
and they play on the
Look,
same team, so I
it is
have
the
to.
Clippers, to be fair.
I mean,
That is
yeah,
Yeah,
but like
yeah. I don't want to
pick a
disrespect the
team.
Celtics. They're still a top team. Jason Tatum's a. I would have to look at it, but I could probably say that he's a top 10 NBA player. If not, he's in that like 10 to 14 range. So bottom line, he's a top 15 player easily.
he's
Borderline
made
top 10. He's
he's
in that
made
range
first
for sure.
team All NBA the last 2 years in a row.
Top
Yeah, he's legit.
top
He's super
top
good.
5, top 3 debatably at position.
Yeah.
Probably top 3.
So I don't want to get that twisted. Drew, thank you so much for being on this episode of the
Yeah,
pod.
thank you for having me.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a great time talking about NBA today. Hopefully, we can talk about NBA a little bit more. Football's kind of had the primary recently just because it's
Yeah.
been the playoffs.
And
But yeah,
next
thank
week
you,
it
Drew,
will
for
too.
coming on. I had a blast talking about the Celtics, even though I don't really like them. So yeah,
Yep.
that's gonna
If
be it for this episode.
you're still here watching, I doubt any of you are, but doing a golf podcast on Sunday night that'll be uploaded probably Monday. So we'll do a little recap of the Pebble Beach this weekend and then a preview for
Pro-Am.
the waste management. So that'll be fun. It's me, Mr. Mac that we saw last week, and then Luca,
Shout out
my
Mac
roommate.
Jones.
Yep, not Mac Jones. Yep.
Shout out Luka Doncic.
You don't have to shout out Mac Jones. It's okay.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing. Yeah,
And
that's
then
gonna be it for this
yeah,
episode of the podcast. If you liked it, drop a like. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in episode 4. So yeah.
sure. Peace.
Thank you.